is it acceptable that you have still not heard, at least publicly, from the Secret Service director?
Oh, I've heard from him.
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
I mean, my father almost lost his head because of that incompetence. Think about that excuse. Secret Service isn't capable of walking up a roof that has a narrow pitch. My 4-year-old daughter could have walked up that roof, and they let a gunman at 130 yards, which is a chip shot, it's a 4-inch putt, take a shot at the former president of the United States and very likely the future president of the United States from 130 yards away because they were afraid to step on a narrow roof. That's really her excuse. Jesse, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. It's an act of God that he survived.
Disgraced United States Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle needs to shut up or just go away. She is now citing a safety factor as justification for why the roof that was accessed by the shooter in the Trump assassination attempt was left unguarded. This is ridiculous. She says there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. What is this slope that we're talking about? Is it Mount Everest? What are we doing? Right? Clearly the slope didn't deter the shooter, right? The shooter was able to get up there. The shooter was able to move around. The shooter was able to get 3 shots off. And then we had the counter sniper team that was also up on a sloped roof. They seem to have no issues getting shots off. They seem to have no issues doing their job. Why on earth was that roof left unguarded? She says the decision was made to secure the building from the inside. That didn't work. It clearly didn't work. That decision was the wrong decision. We need to see some accountability. Kim Cheadle needs to either be fired or needs to resign immediately. This is unacceptable. We're talking about a safety factor. What about the safety of the person you are trying to protect? The presidential candidate and former president speaking on the stage. I guess that never crossed your mind.
We've seen videos of U.S. snipers in Afghanistan on rock cliffs like this. We've seen snipers in helicopters, sloped roof, and then you look at the sloped roof where they did have a counter sniper team, just as sloped. She's admitting she almost got Trump killed. They didn't have enough security. They had a Jill Biden event in Pittsburgh the same day. They had a Kamala event in Philly the same day. And they didn't have enough resources for the former president. And they admitted that this roof was a vulnerability. And instead of putting guys on it, they put guys inside the building. What good is that? And then you have all of these people calling in, radioing in. Even Trump fans saying there's a guy with a rangefinder, there's a guy with a backpack, he's acting suspicious. And they don't detain him. There's some cat and mouse game around this perimeter. And they know there's this kook on the loose, and they don't even make Trump leave the stage. They let him hang out there like a sitting duck. And then I'm hearing this other report that the dad called 911 when he saw the shooting on TV. I thought the dad didn't know anything. Why would the dad know that his son did this? That makes no sense. And how did the FBI, before they even cracked into his phone, say the guy acted alone? That doesn't make any sense either. You're saying they cracked into his phone now, and there's no texts, phone calls, emails, there's no Google search history? This guy's a social media ghost? It doesn't make any sense.
Wow. So I was just showing Tucker some material from an unimpeachable source, let's just say, on the matter. That post, according to my source, that roof, was supposed to be a police post. It was supposed to be someone there. They're now making up excuses, saying the pitch of the roof. My source says to me, no one knows why the post didn't show up. But so that's a nonsense story they're putting out in the media. And I was also told that the Secret Service director has been given instructions from the administration and the DHS secretary. If you want to keep your job, you'll keep your mouth shut about this. They're not putting that out there, but if you get those site post logs and those police instructions and there was a post on there and they didn't show up and no one checked, someone could have got your dad killed within millimeters.
You know, at some point we may find out what happened on Saturday. A guy with a rifle wound up on a building, you know, that close with a ladder, and all these people saw it, and the Secret Service, they're like, what is that? You know, it's not crazy to think that there was something there. It was an effort to kill Trump, and it wasn't just a lone gunman who was killed, that it was something else.
But here's another thing I'm hearing from sources, that this subject, they had been monitoring him since he came in around that external perimeter area. This subject who was the shooter. They lost track of him, apparently, and he was hiding in a building about 300 yards away. Folks, if they had this subject in their on their, say, their radar, that you had a potential threat, I think the questions right now are fairly obvious. Why was President Trump even on stage at that point? He should have not been on stage. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you know you're in a situation with a potential threat out there, just delay the event for a little bit. I mean, listen, we've got to talk candidly about this stuff. Again, I don't want to hear about Monday morning quarterbacking anything. This isn't a freaking football game, man. This is the life of the President of the United States. This isn't a joke. I saw some guy online talking about how, people make mistakes. We don't get to make mistakes. What are you talking about, make mistakes? This is the Secret Service. There's no opportunity for mistakes.
I've done thousands of advances. I've done thousands of counter-sniper operations with our teams in Iraq and Afghanistan, etc. The amount of negligence, the amount of mistakes that was made here, I have a very difficult time not leaning myself towards this was intentional as opposed to fecklessness.
But wait, talk to me about that. I actually heard you say this right the day after, which I wanted to ask you about. What do you mean intentional?
I
mean an intentional failure on the part of...
No, I wouldn't say an intentional failure on the part of, but I got to just, I sit here and I scratch my head. You don't want to be the conspiracist. You don't want to be the person.
I'm telling you, because that's what it's leaning toward.
No, I know. And that's the issue, is that you walk this fine balance of, you're not trying to be a conspiracist, but you look at it and you go, how could this have gone so...
But it's one thing if someone on the street says it. It's not, you, Corn Mills, member of Congress, former sniper, you saying it, it makes my eyebrows go up. When you say you're walking the line on this, intentional what?
It almost seems to me, and I think that an investigation is necessary at this point within Congress, not just the FBI, not just others. I look back at it and I'm thinking, all right, for an individual, if you looked at the escalations and how they are trying to approach him, let's just say that it was like, okay, first we want to censor and silence you, then we want to indict and imprison you. Now we're attempting to kill you and take...
Whoa.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, InfoWars tells you the truth about what's happening next. Visit Infowars.com/show and share the link today.
After Secret Service Barbie, a highly trained member of the Secret Service, removes her weapon from its holster for the very first time in her career. She struggles to return her pea shooter as though it's her first day on the job. Fortuitously, her skills from a previous life as an amateur actress come into play, allowing her to convincingly mimic the swift draw of the weapon and scan the horizon for threats. Chewing her gum nonchalantly, she attempts to exude a tactical demeanor, reminiscent of a fusion between the Blues Brothers and Rosie O'Donnell. Despite her efforts, our agent's attempt to return her wireless hole punch to its home results in another failure. While she may have faltered at this most basic of tasks, she certainly looked cool while doing it.
Please visit my website at samstwitch.com. My Twitter profile is at samstwitch_Sam. My YouTube channel is at youtube.com/samstwitch. I post videos that I cannot post on YouTube on my BitChute channel at bitshoot.com/samstwitch.